We're going to get started here in about 5 minutes here. So wait for the people to pop their heads in. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Really appreciate that. Ready to get rocking and rolling here in about 5 minutes. We're going to get rocking and rolling in about a minute. Excited to share with everyone here. I'm excited to have Justin. We're live as well with streaming. We do this together as a last minute pop-up, so really excited to share with you what Justin has to say about creating a massive referral business. Really excited about it. Well, welcome. I want to say thank you for everyone for joining us today. Really do appreciate it. If you're on the live with us, throw live in the chat below. If you have any questions as we go, I'm going to kind of moderate today. We're really excited to provide a ton of value around how to create a massive referral business. And I brought in the man, the myth, the legend, Justin Stoddart, to talk about his upstream model, to talk about what he's doing for real estate agents to really help them create longevity in their business, but also take one client and turn them into three. I don't want to steal any more of your thunder, Justin. I'm going to kind of sit back and I'm going to take notes myself, but I'm really, really excited that we get the opportunity to chat with real estate agents today about how they can really maximize their database, how they can really maximize the referral base, and you're the guy to talk to. So excited. I'm going to hand it over to you and let you do your thing.
Cody May, what a pleasure to be with you, man. So excited to be here. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I know that there's a group here with us on Zoom. There's another group that's tuning in via Facebook. So however you're here, we're grateful for you to be here, and very excited to share with you some secrets to unlocking getting more warm referrals in your business. I'm going to share my screen here. We are going to dive right in. I know everybody's time is super valuable. We respect that, and we want to give everybody tons of value in as short a time as possible. I'm going to be giving some opportunities to get questions answered. So feel free to put them in the chat. If we don't see them, just know at the very end, I'm going to open up kind of a unique opportunity that I don't give very often. And it's really because of my appreciation for Cody and all he does for this community to get your questions answered. Whether it's via a chat back and forth, or whether it be a 15-minute call, like a Zoom call, getting your questions answered. I'm excited to really share this and really help you unlock what could be possible for you when it comes to getting more warm referrals. So let's dive right in. My guess is, and you can, whether we see you or not, I want you to raise your hand if you believe that warm referrals are better than cold leads. In fact, just maybe in the chat, put the number 1, just say, yeah, I would prefer to have somebody calling me saying, do you have time to work with me, versus me calling a list of people trying to get somebody to agree to meet with me. And I think we would all agree that warm referrals are better than cold leads, right? So got some response here, good stuff. The only problem then is when our warm referrals run out, right? I want you to think about this. Our goals are probably here, and our warm referrals turn off about here, right? Our sphere, our friends, our clients can only do so much, right? They love us, but the reality is they're just not in conversations every day about real estate like we are. And so they run out of opportunities to help us, okay? So at that point, we have a decision to make. How do I fill that gap, right? And we might be asking ourselves, like, what is it really? Like, what are my options at that point, right? Are my options to lower my goals? My guess is if you're spending any time with Cody May, that is not an option. He's a big thinker, and he is somebody who will help push you to new levels. He's not going to say, oh, just lower your goals down to the level of where your referrals are coming in. No, that's unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. The next option is, well, I guess I then have to give up time and money to go figure out how to fill that gap. And we don't really like that. Like, what if we don't really like either of those options, right? Where I've got to spend a bunch of money to go get more leads, or I've got to spend a bunch of time away from my family trying to get my, like a bigger warm network, right? Today I'm going to talk about how you can fill that gap with warm referrals that don't cost you a bunch of time away from those people who you love the most. So a little background on me, for those that don't know, my name is Justin Stoddart. I'm the CEO of a company called Think Bigger. I'm a former land developer and home builder, also a licensed real estate agent. For those that know my story, know that I found out after about a decade of developing land that wasn't my passion. My passion was developing people, not land, and building businesses, not homes. So now I get the good fortune, after being in this real estate industry for almost a couple decades now, of being able to devote full time to helping real estate agents to unlock the potential inside of them, specifically around generating more referrals. So that's a little bit about me, bit more about me. Again, I built high-end custom homes. Some of the principles that I'm going to teach you today came from my experience building high-end luxury custom homes. I'm also the author of the international best-selling book, The Upstream Model, and I also host the Think Bigger Real Estate Show, which is a top podcast. Outside of that, I keep pretty busy with these people right here. These 7 people are my why. That little fuzzy one, I like her as well, but the people in the picture are my favorites. Yes, we do have 6 kids, and I have been informed that once you go to a second hand, you're officially considered a big family. So when you can't count your kids on one hand, it goes to 2 hands, you're a big family. So proud to say we're a big family, and I absolutely love it. Father's Day was a lot of fun for me here a couple days ago. Again, as I promised, you're going to have some questions. Your wheels are going to turn. If you pay attention during this, your wheels are going to be turning. And I just want to offer you some help to where you don't have to take copious notes or feel like you've missed out. If you'll just find me on Instagram and DM me the word slides. I have them already pre-packaged, not just with the slides with a couple words, but with the full talking notes to where you can go back and review that afterwards. So just DM me slides. If it would be helpful for you, I'll also give you a digital copy of my international best-selling book, The Upstream Model. And that will be found inside of my Facebook group called Successful Real Estate Agents. Inside of there, I'll give you access to that full copy of the book as well. So again, just a couple gifts for being here, being friends with Cody. You're a friend of mine. So rolling along. Let's talk about some of the challenges that we are facing and that I believe the Upstream model can help you to solve. Number one is we're short on inventory. Another one here is interest rates and inflation are ratcheting up. And we also have these big tech competitors who are finding ways to minimize what a real estate agent does and gets paid. Or they're working to eliminate the real estate agent altogether. Now, these are just a couple, right? They built great businesses, no fault of theirs, right? But we have to find a way to be sure that the consumer doesn't believe that we're interchangeable, that any real estate agent will do just because you have a good app, or that maybe I don't need a real estate agent because AI is getting pretty good, right? That's what we are combating against, whether we realize it or not. But how does that show up? It shows up in the form of downward price pressure, right? Downward price commission pressure is how many of this shows up in what we are combating against, not just doing enough deals, but doing deals that are profitable deals. So what I'm going to share with you today is going to help you to unlock that secret, right? Because the pressure is mounting. Let's face it. With this current economy, what's happening? And we have to ask ourselves, what is the path forward? Is the path forward to just do what we've always done, right? Because and we kind of all know the well-known and well-stated, oft-stated adage, which is, if I do what I've always done, I will get what I've always got. Now, I'm going to challenge that. I'm going to say, if you this year, if you do what you did last year, are you going to get the same amount of transactions? What do you guys think? In the chat, tell me, if you do the exact same things this year that you did last year, are you going to get the same amount of transactions? Put the comments, yes or no. Let's see what we got here. Let's do a poll here. Let's find out. What are people saying? Nothing to sell. Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts? No, you're not, right? You're not going to get what you've always gotten because there is a shrinking market. You see, when a market's going up and flattens out and then starts to taper down, right? If you do what you've always done, you will follow that trend. And when there are less homes to sell, guess what? You will sell less homes. So you cannot do what you've always done and get what you've always gotten. That's false. That's not true. There are so many other variables that play into this. Okay? We have to then ask ourselves, well, then what do we do? Can we do more? Maybe we don't have time to do more. Maybe it's time we just do better. Maybe we need to evaluate the models that we've been pursuing and find some better models, right? Cody and his team have an amazing model that many of you have tapped into. If you haven't, then you need to learn about that because that is a better model. Similar to how I'm going to share with you today, a better model for getting warm referrals, okay? There are better models out there. Let me tell you about my story. I was building high-end custom homes, working for a general contractor. I realized that his passion really moved to land development, and he was no longer involved in the high-end custom home business that I was now managing. And I realized, like, my passion for being a business, like in business for myself, it was time. It was time for me to take that step. And so I made him an offer to buy out that book of business, his custom home business, and separate it into my own business and carry on and move forward. And he agreed. So as I stepped out into my own business, I was excited. I figured it was going to be as easy to get new clients as he had made it appear. Can anyone relate to that? I got my real estate license. I can serve clients. I know I'll take great care of them. And all of a sudden, you realize, like, wait a minute. Just because I can take good care of clients doesn't mean I have clients to take care of. Was that an aha for anybody else where it was like, oh crap, I have to get the client too? Now that seems super naive, but at some level or not, I guarantee every one of us said, dang, I would take great care of clients. I just need more clients to take care of. That was me. And this is how I felt. I want you to take a look at this image right here. This was me. This was a stream of clients, right? And I was the fisherman, one of many fishermen who had a pole and a line baited up, ready to go. And I realized, like these other fishermen, aka in my situation, they were other home builders, they were not super friendly at having me come and drop my line in their fishing hole. They were trying to box me out. They didn't want me to come fish right next to them. Can you blame them, right? New guy comes in wearing a yellow tie, looking pretty snazzy, and you're like, who is this cat? Like, no, I've been here for 2 decades. I'm not just going to let you come in and start taking my clients. And so I did what any good, wise professional would do. I sought out some coaching. But before I did that, I made an observation, is that there was somebody in this image who had all of the clients that I wanted. And he was not a competitor. He was a professional in a neighboring industry. It was an architect. Look at it. He's up there fishing with a net. He's got all the clients before my competitors even knew that those clients were a possibility. So I made that mental note and I moved on to get a traditional coach. It was actually a coach out of the real estate industry. You can probably guess who it is, because he taught me to build a big database and then to do notes, calls, and pop buys, and to tell everyone that I'm never too busy for their referrals. Now that works wonderful up to a point with people who have the ability to help you, right? These are your personal friends and you really don't want them to forget. However, I realized that this big database of people were not producing the quantity of referrals that I needed. Now, part of the problem was I was 25 years old and I was seeking referrals to $1 million construction projects. And there just weren't a lot of them coming from my database. And so I started to realize, even though I was up early at morning networking events, I was part of a BNI chapter, even though I was networking at lunch, even though I was out managing projects, doing a great job, my clients loved me, I still did not have the amount of business coming in the door that I wanted, that was equal to my goals. I felt very much like I was out hunting for golden eggs, okay? And most of the eggs were not golden. I had this big database, right? Big database of friends, clients, but most of them were not able to help me. Even though they would want to, they weren't able to. They weren't in conversations that would lead them to this point. Okay, and I began to get a little bit frustrated until I had this aha. I remembered back about that architect, you know, the one who had all the clients that I wanted and he wasn't even a competitor of mine. And that really was the beginning of the upstream model. I realized that downstream was a very crowded place, but if I could just take a small little walk up the stream and identify somebody who was having conversations with people all day, every day, that were going to need a builder next, that it would open up a big opportunity for me. And that's exactly what I did. So I walked upstream and I identified that this architect was fishing with a net. And all of a sudden I was pulling clients out of the stream before my competitors even knew that those clients were a possibility. It changed the game. But at first I did it wrong. And I'm going to tell you here in just a little bit how I did it wrong and how most professionals don't unlock these secrets because they also do it wrong. I'll get to that here in just a little bit. But my database went from a database of 250 people who knew me, liked me, and trusted me, but couldn't help me, down to just a few professionals who I poured big value into, and those few professionals started to send me all the business that I could handle. So instead of a big database giving me a little bit of referrals, I found a few key professionals who could send me a lot of referrals. And instead of chasing golden eggs, I had now found the golden goose. Now I had my feelings hurt just a little bit when someone said, "Hey Justin, that's not a goose, that's a duck." I was like, well, I live in Oregon. I'm a little jaded. I guess I'm an Oregon Duck fan. So bear with me for just a minute. This is a duck, but you get the point. It's actually meant to be a golden goose. And that's the point of the story here, right? Is that rather than chasing golden eggs, you can go find a golden goose who can send you golden eggs all day long. But how? How do you do that, right? Well, my guess is if you're trying to get these other professionals to stop building their business and focus on building yours, You don't. You don't do that. You're right. That would not work. Right? Everyone wants to know, well, how do I do that? How do I get someone else to take their focus off their business and start building mine? You don't. That does not work, right? The motive has to be, how do we help them with their existing business and their existing clients? Okay, and I'm foreshadowing a little bit as to some of the keys to unlocking this model for you. But I just want to tell you, just in this past week, I just started working with a client who's now one of our new coaching clients, and he said, Justin, I did what you told me to do. I had one conversation with a financial advisor. Now keep in mind, he's a residential real estate agent. And he said, I did what you told me to say. He sent me one referral to his brother. And he said that I'm now going to be involved in each one of his client consultations. And that he believes that a steady flow of referrals will come from that one relationship. Okay. Now that's in 1 week of me giving coaching on what not to do and then what to do. He's now opened up a golden goose, if you will, that's going to be sending him regular referrals because of the value that he's adding to that professional and that professional's clients. Okay? So that is where the motive starts. Now, if you're like, okay, I know a financial advisor, right? And your wheels are starting to turn and you're like, oh crap. Like, how do I make this, like what do I say? What do I not say, right? How did he do that? This is a link. If you're looking at this on your computer, you can take your phone and scan this. It will take you directly to my calendar. It'll be a 15-minute window, and I'll answer all the questions that you have during those 15 minutes. Okay. So if this is interesting you and you're like, okay, please help me apply this to my business, right? It's free 15 minutes. I'll give it to you, and I'll help you as much as I can in 15 minutes to take that first step to start unlocking warm referrals flowing into your business. If that's of help, that's just a free offering. Again, I do that because I'm a big Cody fan, and I want to be sure that anybody who ties into this gets a ton of value. Doesn't get just ideas and, oh crap, now what do I do with them? But they actually get tactical help moving forward. On that note, I'm now going to jump into the 5 steps. I'm going to go through them quickly, so I probably won't be able to answer all the questions that you have. We'll at least get you started. And if you do have questions, I'm more than happy to roll over into a quick 15-minute conversation to see how this might be a benefit to you. So step number 1 of 5 is to identify, first and foremost, who do you want to work with? Is it first-time home buyers? Is it step-up buyers? Is it first-time sellers? I guess that would be move-up buyers. Is it people who are buying their dream home? Is it people who are selling their final home? Is it investors who are buying small properties? Investors that are buying big properties? You write down, just like a Christmas wish list, who are the clients? If I could serve them all day, every day, this is who they would be. Could be they live here, they make this, find out, identify, look back through the clients you've already served or the clients you would like to serve. Who is it that you would want to serve? The follow-up question to that is identify who are the professionals that already have a relationship with those people. Okay? We're simply reverse engineering. And rather than you having to go out and try and court 1,000 people to find the few people that you would like to serve, you're going to go identify who do I want to serve, and then you're going to go ask yourself the question, who already has a relationship with those people? Okay, that's step 1. Step 2, you're going to seek a warm introduction to that person. If you cold call into that professional, you will be treated like a cold caller. Okay, you show up like a solicitor, you'll be treated like one. So somebody in your network knows these professionals. You're going to simply seek a warm introduction. You're going to craft very specifically what they say about you. Because if you leave it up to them, they'll probably say, hey, let me introduce you to my friend Cody. He's a real estate agent. He's pretty good. And you're going to sound like every other real estate agent out there. So there's a very simple couple of key bullet points that we encourage you to add into that introduction that ensures that when you're introduced, when there's a warm introduction, you show up in that meeting with them pre-sold. They already know about you. You don't have to do your elevator pitch. You don't have to come in with your cards and all of that. Why? Because somebody already did it for you. And that person is now excited to meet with you. Okay? So that's option 1. Option A, I should say, of your warm introduction, or of step 2 is a warm introduction. 2B is to already have brand celebrity, right? If you're already famous and well known by those professionals, you may not need a warm introduction. They may already know you. They already follow you on social media. They consume your content. They read your emails. By that point, you're probably just ready to jump to step number 3. Now, if you don't have that in place, don't feel bad. We'd all love it if it were, but if not, you can just resort to 2A, which is to seek a warm introduction in which you craft what's said about you in such a way that you sound different and better than any other agent that they've ever met before. Okay, let's jump to step 3. Now, if step 2 is done right, it enables you to do step 3. Because if step 2 is done wrong, you'll step in and you'll have to talk about yourself. You'll have to pitch yourself. And what happens when people start to pitch is our walls go up and we say, this person's here to pitch me. This person's here to get something from me. Therefore, I'm going to be in defense mode. Okay? But if we can be pre-edified when we walk in the door, pre-sold when we walk in the door, we're able to now sit in that meeting not as a solicitor nor even as a vendor. In other words, not even as a real estate agent. We can be in that meeting specifically as a peer, as an equal to them, as someone who's very curious about their goals, about their business, about what they want to accomplish in the next year, about what their plans are to accomplish that in the next year, and what obstacles they may find in so doing. You see, I did not do this when I first uncovered the fact that I was going to meet with an architect. Let me tell you what I did wrong. I didn't do step 2. I didn't seek a warm introduction. I didn't go in pre-edified. In fact, I walked in cold. I simply said, that's a good architect. I've seen his homes being built around the valley. I'm going to go meet with him. Right? With a whole bunch of courage, I walked in the door. This nice lady at the front desk. She said, "Hi, how can I help you?" I said, "I'd like to meet with Ken." She said, "Okay, great. What's your name?" I said, "My name is Justin." She said, "Is Ken expecting you?" I said, "No, he's not." In that moment, I thought that would have been a good idea to have Ken expecting me. And she said, "Okay, can I tell him what it's about?" I said, "Well, I'm a home builder and I'd like to talk to him about who I am and what I do." She said, "Okay," hesitantly. She said, "Let me see if he's got a few minutes." Several minutes later, and I was getting a little nervous as how long it took, Ken came out, and Ken was a professional, so he was cordial. But I realized really quickly that Ken wasn't having the best of time, that Ken was already very busy, right? And I was coming there to solve Ken's problem? No, I wasn't. I was coming there to solve my problems. I was coming there to get something from Ken. I was coming to get referrals from Ken. Ken knew it, I knew it. Therefore, Ken was nice. Ken looked at my brochure, Ken looked at my cards, and he probably threw them in the trash can when I left, because I was there soliciting something that he didn't need. He didn't need a builder to build his homes. He already had plenty. And that was what I was showing up to do, was to get something from him. So when I did it right, here's what it looked like. I went to my friend Nicole, who was an interior designer. Nicole loved me. We were good friends. We'd worked on several projects together. I said, "Nicole, do you know Jared, who's another architectural designer different than Ken?" She said, "Yeah, really well." I said, "I would love to meet and work with Jared, but I don't want to walk in cold. Would you do me a favor and introduce me?" She said, "Sure." I said, "Before you introduce me, can I give you a few points that will ensure that I look and sound very different than any other builder he's met?" She's like, "Sure." She did that. When I met with Jared, I was able to have a peer-to-peer conversation. Jared already knew me because I had already been pre-edified. She'd done my 60-second elevator pitch for me. So now I could really be in that meeting with one sole purpose, which is to identify what Jared needed next. What was the next thing that he needed in his business? And all my questions were around him. They were more around me being a business consultant to him than me being a vendor trying to get something from him. And Jared felt it. I took notes on what Jared needed. After I left the meeting, I went to work on what Jared needed. I called him back. I said, "Hey, Jared, I've got an idea for you. Based on what you said, I've been thinking about it. I'd love to introduce you to somebody. Would that be valuable?" Which leads me to step 4, is I brought value to Jared's business. The moment Jared realized that, number 1, I was different because of the way I was introduced. I was different because of the way I was asking about him, not pitching myself, and very different in the way that I followed up, adding value to his business. All of a sudden, Jared wanted me in his business. He was like, "This guy's different. He's not here to get, he's here to give. He can give and he wants to give." And so I began to deliver value to Jared's business through some simple introductions. You guys, this didn't take a long time. It didn't take a lot of effort. People I already knew, things I already knew. But now I'm delivering on the fact that Jared is impressed, and I'm speaking to the fact of what I uncovered in that meeting with Jared, which led me to step number 5. Once I had Jared's trust, I could then go, and now this is where all the magic's at, you guys, is where I was able to bring value to Jared's clients. You see, Jared, like most architects, loved doing a pre-construction job site walk. where prior to the plans being completely finalized, he would walk the job site, right? These are kind of large estate properties, and be sure that the home was situated just how they wanted it. Many clients don't have the ability to see in 3D, right? They're looking at paper plans and they just want a job site walk. I asked Jared, I said, hey, how often do you do these? And he said, Justin, I'd like to do them all the time, but honestly, sometimes I get busy and I don't make it. I said, would it be okay if I did them for you? On your behalf, I'll wear your jersey, your jacket, whatever you want me to do, just on your behalf. I love, though, doing that with clients. I'd be happy to just report back on what they say, just so that you have that experience. Now, was I making a better experience for Jared's clients? Yes. Was I also making it to where Jared was very appreciative? I was a leverage point for him? Yes. So it's a win-win for both of them. And who's the third win? Hint, hint, right? The third win is me. I'm getting to meet the clients before the clients ever meet another builder. Now, I'm not there to pitch them. I'm there to build value for them and build a relationship with them. When I found a way to get integrated into Jared's existing client experience and make it better, I had a head start on every other builder. Now, keep in mind, every other builder had about a decade or two head start on me, but that didn't matter anymore. I was losing consistently before this strategy, and I started to win consistently after this strategy because now I had a head start in the form of weeks and even months over my competition, and that was enough to get them to trust me and use me before they ever went to the other providers. That's where you start to separate. Now, let me paint a picture, going back to where this all came from. Most professionals are taught to fish in a very crowded stream where everyone else is fishing, right? What we are teaching you to do is to identify who is upstream from those fishing holes. Who are the professionals that already have the years of trust, the years of knowledge and likability, that in a moment's endorsement, that gets transferred to you and you get a shot. You get an opportunity to inherit all the work that those professionals have done. Now, why would they do that? Are they going to do that because they know that you like you, trust you, and you took them to golf? Maybe that works. It probably does if you want to spend the time and the money and all that to try and go the old route. But if you jump straight to the root, which is these professionals have time constraints. They have clients who have needs, and you're helping to fulfill those needs on their behalf. Those professionals will open the door to you and possibly to many, if not all, of their clients. You solve problems for them on their behalf, and there will be nothing holding them back from bringing you into that picture before those people ever have a chance to talk to another professional. That's where the gold and the magic is at. So at this point, you're probably having questions. You're probably saying like, dang, okay, I love working by referral, but yes, just like you described, my goals are here and my warm referrals turn off about here. And I would love to close that gap with more warm referrals. And I've always thought, I guess I just need to go make more friends and be more social and attend more blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, you're out at community events when your family's at home without a mom or a dad, right? And you would rather be at home with people who you love more. This is a way for you to get warm referrals without having to give away all of your time out trying to build this massive database and sphere to, by the way, many people who will not actually be able to help you because you haven't identified the right who. So my follow-up to this is if you have questions and you're identifying like, okay, I know an insurance agent, okay, I know a property manager, okay, I know a financial advisor, I know a CPA, I don't want to screw this up. These people have the ability to send me referrals multiple a month. Yeah, change your freaking life type referrals. Get on my calendar. Like, let's spend a few minutes together. I'll walk you through the next step. Whoever your person is that you're thinking of, I will help you take the next steps to where you feel confident taking the next steps towards getting these warm referral partners in your business. Cody, this has been fun. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to speak to your group. Any questions that have come up that you have or anybody else have? I've got a few minutes to answer those. Would love to.
I just want to hop in here because I think that like this was like absolutely incredible. And anyone that catches the replay, and we're going to hit this out to our email list after, anyone that's been following my journey over the last couple of years has known that I say everything takes time and everything works and everything requires volume. And what, like, you know, our mutual friend who we got connected with, Sharon, always says this, and I love this, is like, people don't wake up in the morning thinking about how they can refer you more business. And like when he connected you and I to talk about referrals, it's like every agent that we speak with loves referrals, and but they don't have a system and they don't have a process for how they're actually going to get those referrals. So I think that everything you just identified in those 5 key steps are just absolutely amazing. And I think that it's something that every person that's listening to this replay or on the live should be thinking about. What are the how can I take these 5 steps in order to actually build a scalable referral business? So my question to you would be, when you were first starting out and you were building your referral base and you went to that specific person, maybe can you give us like 2 indicators of really good referral sources that you think that somebody could start with?
Yeah, you bet. So in the real estate industry, right? And this is really where, after being a developer, after being a home builder, right, I began to apply this in the real estate industry. And I began to work and share this with other agents. And I realized like these principles are much bigger than just a builder to an architect, right? This is the reality of how most people get ahead faster than others, is because it's not about the what, it's about the who. And when you unlock, when you identify the right who, everything gets easier. And so for real estate agents, one of the lowest hanging fruits is a lender, right? It's a lender. It's the ability to now you might be thinking like, okay, yeah, I got a lender. And it's like lenders oftentimes, are they downstream from agents? Sometimes. Are the good ones upstream from agents? Yes. Because they have a database. For the past 2 years, they've been refining their entire database, right? And they have an ongoing relationship with them. And they have the ability to give referrals. In fact, I guarantee the good ones are giving referrals. They just might not be giving them to you. And the reason being is because there isn't a value exchange. There isn't a proper value proposition in return. And so that's one of the easiest ones where people are like, yeah, I've gotten a few referrals from lenders. If you've gotten a few, there's a lot more there. It's just how you're approaching that lender. It's not like, hey, will you buy me lunch? Hey, will you pay for my marketing? Hey, will you do that? Like, it's not that. It's not what can I get from you? It's let's partner. Let me help you improve your business. Let me help you improve your client experience. So that's one that shows up right away. One thing that I'm kind of the next one I would say that's pretty low-hanging fruit is a financial advisor. Now, everybody on the call here will have a different comfort level with talking to different professionals, right? I have agents that'll join my coaching group and they'll be like, Justin, in week 1 or week 2, I talked to my HVAC guy and I realized he's going into houses all day long and asking people about their furnace, and he's asking them, he's giving them advice as to whether or not they should get a 95% efficiency or an 80%. And what hinges that is how long are you going to live here. So that guy who's going in to do HVAC work walks out knowing how long that person's going to live in the house. Is that valuable for a real estate agent? Yes, it is. Now you might say, oh, I get it. I'm going to go talk to my HVAC guy and hand him a stack of my cards. No, don't do that. That's why you don't get referrals, right? So it could be the professional services crowd, or it could be the home services crowd, right? There's 2 really big categories there. But back to financial advisors, at least annually, are talking to their clients about their wealth. And they're identifying what's coming in the next 12 months that we should have a conversation around, right? And the good advisors know when people are exchanging real estate. They know when they're buying, selling, downsizing, buying another home, right? Because they're involved in all things financial for their clients. And the average financial advisor, based on my research and authoring my book, it was about 18 warm referrals they could be giving in any given year, and most of them are giving 0. Simply because the approach and the value proposition is not there. With a few simple tweaks, I actually have had advisors say, yeah, I don't refer to agents. After I taught them the value proposition and had agents approach them, they're like, yeah, it makes total sense for me to introduce all my clients there, because they become a part of my client experience now. It's just easy, right? It's as easy as breathing. It's simple. So those are a couple of people started.
This is amazing. Like for me, it's more of the fact that like so many clients, when they come to us, it's like, hey, we want to run ads. We want people to call our leads. And like what you're doing to actually systematize, like you're systematizing business growth. You're systematizing referral business growth, which everyone wants. So it's like, when Sharon connected us, I'm like, this is a perfect example because everything works and what you're doing. I just commend you. I have an amazing amount of respect for everything that you're doing for real estate agents with the upstream model. And I encourage anyone that's listening back to the replay to book a call because this can really, if you nail a referral system, you can go from no one waking up thinking about how they're going to help you grow your business to people waking up thinking about how they can help you grow your business. Because if they help you grow your business, like you help them grow their business, it's vice versa. So I just want to say thank you so much for the time today that you spent with us, and really do appreciate you and honor you. And everyone that joined us today, I want to say thank you. Everyone listening back to the live, check out the replay. Stop, rewind, listen to the 5 steps on how you can actually build a scalable referral business. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see everyone soon. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Cody.